The boxes are stacked like monuments to a life lived, each one a testament to memories gathered, dreams pursued, and moments that once seemed eternal. You stand in the empty room where laughter once echoed, where tears were shed, were countless. Ordinary days transformed into the extraordinary tapestry of your existence. The walls that witnessed your joys and sorrows now stand bare, waiting for someone else's story to unfold within their embrace. This is the moment when change reveals its most profound truth, that nothing in this world remains unchanged. And in accepting this reality, we discover not loss, but liberation. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor who ruled the greatest empire the world had ever known, understood something that transcends the boundaries of time and circumstance. In his private journal, later known as the Meditations, he wrote words that speak directly to your heart in this moment of transition. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. Standing in this space between what was and what will be, you are witnessing the very essence of what it means to be human, to exist in a state of constant flux, where the only certainty is change itself. The ancient Stoics possessed a profound understanding of human nature and the inevitable rhythms of existence. They recognized that our suffering comes not from change itself, but from our resistance to it, from our desperate attempts to cling to what was never ours to possess permanently. Your home, with all its familiar corners and comfortable shadows, was always a temporary dwelling for your temporary form in this temporary world. This is not a cause for despair, but for wonder. Consider the incredible gift you have been given, the ability to experience, to love, to create meaning in spaces that are ultimately impermanent, yet eternally significant in the story of who you are becoming. Seneca, the great Roman philosopher and advisor to emperors, spent much of his life in exile, forced to leave behind everything he had known and loved. Yet from this experience of involuntary change, he discovered truths that have illuminated the path. For seekers across centuries, he understood that our attachment to places, to things, to the familiar arrangements of our external world, a tone becomes a prison that prevents us from discovering the boundless freedom that exists within our own consciousness. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, he wrote. Recognizing that what appears to be loss is often the universe's way of creating space for growth, we could never have imagined while comfortable in our old patterns. As you prepare to leave this space that has been your sanctuary, your shelter, your stage for countless performances of daily life, remember that you are not abandoning your past. You are carrying its essence with you in ways that no physical relocation can disturb. The conversations that shaped you, the moments of peace that restored you, the challenges that strengthened you, these are not trapped within these walls. They live within you, woven into the very fabric of your being, accessible wherever your journey may lead. The Stoic practice of negative visualization teaches us to imagine loss, not to create anxiety, but to cultivate appreciation for what we have while we have it. If you had known on your first day in this home exactly when you would leave it, would you have loved it less? Or would you have loved it more deeply, more consciously, more completely? The impermanence that saddens you today is the same impermanence that made every sunset from your window precious, every morning coffee in your kitchen sacred, every return home after a long journey feel like a small miracle. Epictetus, who knew suffering intimately as a slave before becoming one of history's most influential teachers of freedom, offered wisdom that cuts through the illusion of our attachments. Wealth consists in not having great possessions, but in having few wants. Your true wealth has never been contained within the walls of any structure. It resides in your capacity to adapt, to find beauty in new surroundings, to create home wherever you plant the seeds of your attention and care. The slave who became a sage understood that external circumstances, no matter how familiar or cherished, cannot touch the essential core of who you are, the consciousness that observes, chooses, that creates meaning from the raw material of experience. Moving requires us to confront one of the most fundamental aspects of human existence, our relationship with impermanence. We live in a culture that often encourages us to believe that happiness comes from accumulating and maintaining, from building and keeping, from establishing and preserving. Yet every wisdom tradition throughout history has pointed toward the same. It's profound truth. Lasting peace comes not from controlling our external circumstances, but from developing an inner stability that remains unshaken regardless of what changes. Around us, the boxes that now contain your possessions tell a story, but they do not tell your story. They hold objects that served as props in the drama of your daily life, but you are not the sum of your possessions. You are the consciousness that gave those objects meaning. It's the awareness that transformed a house into a home, the creative force that will, without doubt, transform your next dwelling into something equally meaningful and beautiful. This recognition is not philosophical abstraction, it is practical wisdom that can transform your experience of this transition from one of loss to one of exciting possibility. Consider the extraordinary fact that you have successfully navigated every change, every transition, every ending that your life has presented thus far. You have survived the dissolution of previous chapters, the closing of other doors, the conclusion of relationships and situations that once seemed permanent. Each time you not only survived, but discovered new aspects of your resilience, new capacities for adaptation, new sources of joy and meaning that you could not have imagined while comfortable in previous arrangements. This pattern is not coincidence, it is evidence of something indestructible within you, something that the Stoics called your rational faculty. Your capacity to respond consciously rather than merely react emotionally. The emotional weight you feel as you prepare to leave is not weakness, it is evidence of your capacity to love, to invest your heart in places and experiences, to create bonds that transcend the merely practical. Honor these feelings without being enslaved by them. The sadness you experience is proportional to the joy this place has brought you. The anxiety about the unknown is balanced by the excitement of new possibilities waiting to unfold. You contain multitudes, as Walt Whitman observed, and within you exists both the part that mourns endings and the part that celebrates beginnings. The Stoic concept of the discipline of desire teaches us to want what happens rather than demanding that what we want should happen. This is not passive resignation. It is active engagement with reality as it presents itself, your move. Whether chosen or necessitated by circumstances beyond your control, is part of the larger pattern of your unfolding life. Perhaps you are being called to discover aspects of yourself that could only emerge in new territory. Perhaps you are being prepared for opportunities that require you to be in a different place at a different time. Perhaps this apparent disruption is actually a correction, guiding you toward alignment with purposes and possibilities that your previous situation could not accommodate. As you walk through each room one last time, practice the Stoic exercise of seeing with grateful eyes. Instead of focusing on what you are leaving behind, celebrate what each space has given you. The kitchen where you learned new recipes and fed people you love. The living room where conversations deepened, friendships, and where solitude provided restoration. The bedroom where dreams visited you in sleep and where morning light greeted you for countless dawns. These experiences are not lost. They have become part of the permanent record of your existence, contributing to the person you are today and informing the person you are becoming. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Your thoughts about this move, about the unknown that awaits you, about your capacity to thrive in new circumstances, these thoughts will shape your experience more than any external factor. You have the power right now to choose thoughts that serve your highest good. Thoughts that align you with your own strength and resilience rather than your fears and limitations. The practice of morning reflection, which Marcus Aurelius engaged daily while governing an empire, can transform your experience of this transition. Each morning, as you wake up surrounded by boxers and the evidence of change, remind yourself that you are exactly where you need to be. The universe, with its infinite complexity and perfect timing, has orchestrated circumstances that are calling you forward into your next chapter of growth. You are not a victim of change. You are an active participant in the grand adventure of conscious existence. Seneca practiced voluntary discomfort to prepare himself for involuntary challenges. He would periodically sleep on the floor, eat simple food, wear rough clothes, not to punish himself, but to remind himself that his happiness did not depend on luxurious circumstances. Your move, even if it involves temporary inconvenience or adjustment to less familiar or comfortable surroundings, is an opportunity to discover the sources of contentment that exist independent of external conditions. You may find, as countless others have discovered, that some of your happiest and most meaningful moments lie ahead in circumstances you cannot yet imagine. The Stoic virtue of courage is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to act in accordance with your values, despite the presence of fear. Moving requires courage. The courage to release familiar patterns, to trust in your ability to adapt, to believe that growth often requires temporary discomfort. You possess this courage. It lives in every cell of your body and every thought. You think consciously rather than automatically. Every moment you choose to move forward despite uncertainty. Every object you pack carries memories. But you are not a curator of a museum. You are the author of a living story that continues to unfold. Some items will find new purpose in your new space. Others may be released to find their way to people who need them now, just as they once found their way to you when you needed them. This circulation of objects through different lives is part of the larger rhythm of existence that the Stoics observed and celebrated. Nothing is truly possessed. Everything is temporarily experienced. This truth, rather than diminishing the value of your experiences, amplifies their preciousness. The concept of memento mori, remembering death, which the Stoics use not to create morbidity but to inspire full engagement with life, applies to every ending, including the ending of your time in this space. Just as the awareness of your own mortality makes each day more valuable, the awareness that your time in any place is limited makes each moment in that place more meaningful. You have been granted the extraordinary gift of conscious presence. In this location, now you are being granted the equally extraordinary gift of conscious transition to somewhere new. Consider the generations of humans who have moved across continents, who have left behind everything familiar to pursue opportunities for themselves and their descendants, who found the strength to start over in completely foreign environments with nothing but their inner resources and their commitment to building meaningful lives. You carry their resilience in your genes, their courage in your spirit, their wisdom in your capacity to adapt and thrive. Your move, whether across town or across the world, connects you to this vast human heritage of migration, exploration, and new beginnings. The discipline of action, central to Stoic philosophy, teaches us to focus our energy on what we can control, rather than dissipating it and worry about what we cannot. You cannot control the timing of your move, the perfection of your new situation, or the speed of your adjustment to new surroundings. You can control your attitude, your preparation, your openness to new experiences, and your commitment to creating meaning and beauty wherever you land. This is not a small power, it is the most significant power available to human beings. The power to choose your response to circumstances. As you begin to envision your new space, resist the temptation to replicate exactly what you are leaving behind. Allow yourself to be curious about new possibilities, new arrangements, new ways of living that might emerge from the fresh start you are creating. Perhaps you will discover that you need less than you thought, that simplicity brings unexpected freedom. Perhaps you will find that new neighbors become dear friends, that different surroundings inspire different aspects of your creativity, that unfamiliar routines awaken dormant parts of your personality. The Stoic practice of the view from above encourages us to zoom out from our immediate concerns and see our lives from a broader perspective. From this expanded viewpoint, your move is one small event in a life filled with countless moves from infancy to childhood. From childhood to adolescence, from student to professional, from single to partnered, through various stages of growth and change. Each transition has prepared you for this one, and this one is preparing you for transitions yet to come. You are not a static being seeking to maintain fixed conditions. You are a dynamic force of consciousness, designed for growth, expansion, and evolution. the anxiety you may feel about fitting in, about finding your place in a new community, about establishing new routines and connections is natural and temporary. Humans are extraordinarily adaptable creatures, capable of finding meaning and joy in circumstances that initially seem foreign or challenging. Your capacity for adaptation is not theoretical. It is proven by every change you have successfully navigated throughout your life. Trust in this capacity. It has never failed you before, and it will not fail you now. Epictetus taught his students to distinguish between what is up to them and what is not up to them. Your new zip code is not up to you, but your attitude toward your new zip code is entirely within your control. The floor plan of your new space is not up to you, but how you arrange your possessions and your daily life within that space is your creative choice. The personalities of your new neighbors are not up to you, but the openness and friendliness you bring to new relationships is your decision. This distinction is not philosophical hair-splitting. It is practical guidance for directing your energy toward areas where you can make a positive difference. The temporary chaos of moving the boxes everywhere, the disrupted routines, the unfamiliar sounds and shadows is not a problem to be endured, but a reminder of life's essential nature. Order and disorder are both temporary states. The peace you once felt in your old familiar environment will return in your new space as you gradually establish new patterns, new associations, new sources of comfort and joy. The restoration of order is not just an external process of unpacking and arranging. It is an internal process of allowing your consciousness to settle into new surroundings, to find beauty in different angles of light, to create meaning through new daily rituals and discoveries. As this chapter of your life comes to a close and a new one prepares to begin, remember that you are not the same person who first moved into your current home. You have grown, learned, changed, and evolved during your time in this space. The person leaving is more experienced, more resilient, more capable than the person who arrived. You are taking with you not just your possessions, but expanded wisdom, deeper self-knowledge, an enhanced capacity for creating home wherever you choose to invest your presence and attention. The Stoics believed that every external event, pleasant or challenging, is an opportunity for character development. Your move is such an opportunity. It invites you to practice non-attachment, to cultivate flexibility, to demonstrate faith in your own resilience, to discover new sources of happiness and meaning. These are not consolation prizes for the loss of familiar comfort. They are invaluable gifts that will serve you throughout your life, in this move and in every change that follows. In the days ahead, when you wake up in a new space and feel momentarily disoriented, when you reach for something that is not yet in its familiar place, when you miss the particular quality of light or sound that characterized your previous home, remember these words. You are exactly where you need to be, becoming exactly who you are meant to be. The universe, in its infinite wisdom and perfect timing, has orchestrated this transition as part of your larger journey toward growth, discovery, and the full expression of your potential. Your new address is not just a change of location, it is an invitation to a new version of yourself, a chance to experiment with different ways of living, an opportunity to discover aspects of your character that could only emerge in fresh circumstances. Embrace this invitation with the confidence of someone who has successfully navigated every previous change, with the wisdom of someone who understands that happiness comes from within, and with the excitement of someone embarking on a new adventure in the grand journey of conscious existence. The Stoic path is not about eliminating emotion or becoming indifferent to our circumstances. It is about developing the inner strength to respond to change with grace, to find stability within ourselves when our external world shifts, and to recognize that our deepest sources of peace and joy are portable. They travel with us wherever we go because they arise from who we are. This move is not just a change of address, it's a masterclass in the art of living. It's an opportunity to practice the timeless wisdom that has guided human beings through transitions and transformations for thousands of years. Welcome this change, as you would welcome an honored teacher, knowing that it comes bearing gifts you cannot yet recognize, opportunities you cannot yet imagine, and growth you cannot yet envision. The house you are leaving has served its purpose in your story. The home you are creating awaits your arrival, ready to be transformed by your presence into the next sacred space where your life will unfold in ways both beautiful and unexpected.